You're watching Adorama TV.
Hey everybody, welcome to this week's episode of Adorama TV. Well, we're constantly talking about taking photos, but what about printing photos? Well, that's what we're going to be talking about this week, and specifically we're going to be talking about photo books from Adorama Pix. Now, if you're not familiar with Adorama Pix, they do prints, they do calendars, cards, gallery wraps, they do framing, and photo books, and we're going to focus on the photo books today. Now, sometimes you think of photo books that are used for wedding photographers, but photo books can be used for all kinds of things. In fact, I've got a friend named Craig who's doing a 365 project. In other words, he's taking a picture every single day, and he's planning to take some of the best pictures of his year of photography and putting that into a photo book for himself. Of course, if you're a wedding photographer, you are very familiar with photo books. Maybe you took a vacation and you want to have a book to remember that by. It's another option. If you have a great pet that you want to document their puppyhood and growing up and playing with kids, photo book could be work well for that. Or, of course, if you have children and you want to make sure you document their childhood, a photo book is great for that as well. And the nice thing is the prices are very affordable. The photo book started at $13 for a 4x6 book. And then, of course, the prices go up depending on the different sizes of books that you get. And speaking of the sizes, the photo books start at 4x6 and they go all the way up to a 12 by 12 inch book. So you can get a really, really large book. And then the pages range from 14 pages all the way up to 76 pages. So you can do a really small book or you can do a pretty large book. You've got all kinds of options there. And the nice thing is once you get your photo book in the mail, it's going to look really, really nice because the packaging is something that they spend a lot of time. So let's start with the packaging. And this might not be something you think about when you think about high quality, but it is very important. So my wife Diane is a professional wedding photographer, and she did a wedding recently, and this is the photo book she got from Adorama Pix. So it has a big label on it that says "Don't bend." I'll flip this over really fast and open it. Now the first thing you can see when I open this is that there are some sides to this box to keep, you know, if there's any kind of impact, it's going to cushion that photo book. And when I open this up, you can see that there's some a nice little layer of cushion there. This is normally wrapped all the way, but I've opened it previously. And then the photo book is inside, and it looks pristine because it's been packaged so well. So when you get your photo book, you can rest assured that it's not going to be damaged, it's not going to be bent. It's going to look really, really nice. Now this one was shot for a wedding, but you can do, again, all kinds of different books. Now to get the color to look wonderful, and the color in these books, I'll just open one of these up. This is a sample book that we got. The color in these books are just exceptional. Now there are a couple of ways to make sure that you get terrific color. First of all, these aren't printed like magazines. They're actually printed on Fuji Crystal archive photo paper. So that means these are archive quality. They're going to last a long, long time. And so these are the same kind, this is the same kind of paper you would get for a nice high-end art photo. Now, if you want to make sure that the colors that you see match what's on the book, you can download an ICC color profile to color manage. And so that way you know that all your color is terrific. Now, you can do this yourself, or if you don't really know anything about color profiling and management, you don't have to worry about that because Adorama Pix can do all of that for you. Now, I want to talk to you about a couple things with these photo books. So they've got terrific color, the quality is very high. They have a no-stitch binding, which means that you can do things like this where you have a nice photo that goes across the page because there's not going to be this big gutter down the center. And so as I flip through here, you can see that this book has been laid out where there are photos that go right over the middle of the frame or of the page. You don't really have to worry about that because these books lay flat, they look terrific, and it doesn't matter. So this is a nice large size book, but even the smallest ones like this guy here also have this you know, this no seam binding, so you can do things like this where you have a photo that goes all the way across the interior seam of the book. It's really, really nice. Now the other thing about these books is that when they're printed, it's a very labor-intensive, hands-on process. It's really manual. In fact, I've gone to the Adorama Pix lab on several occasions. Ingrid there has taken me through a full tour of the site. And I've seen that every single book, every single print, every single gallery wrap, everything is inspected with human eyes, and it's all manual. So there's not a bunch of machines that are just churning things out and just, on auto. Every single thing that comes out is looked at with hands, and they check it, make sure the color is right, and if something's off, they'll fix it right there, so you can be assured that everything you get is going to have great quality, it's going to be cropped just right, it's going to be exactly like you ordered it. Now these books, you can create these in a couple of different ways. So you can create your book in Photoshop and upload it at the Adorama Pix website, or if you don't have Photoshop or you don't know anything about Photoshop, you can use an internet-based book creation program that Adorama has, and it's sort of like Photoshop, so it has layers, it's got customizable templates, it's got things like that, and you can edit your photos right in this online application. And so you can adjust colors and things like that. So you don't have to know Photoshop, you don't have to even use Photoshop. So you can just go right to Adorama Pix, upload your photos, do a book layout, and get everything finished. And once you're done, once everything is uploaded, well, it takes about 5 to 7 business days plus shipping to get your book back in the mail. So it's a really, really quick turnaround. So if you're on a deadline, Adorama Pix is really going to help you out because you don't have to wait for weeks and weeks to get a book back. You can have it turned around very, very quickly. Now, there's a ton of stuff about these books. There's all kinds of prices, options, and things like that. And you can find all that at adoramapix.com. And don't forget that they do photo books, but in addition to that, they do prints and calendars and gallery wraps and everything else. So it's a complete printing solution for you. Again, it's adoramapix.com. Well, that's all we have time for today, and we thank you for joining us this week. Remember, if you have a question about photography or anything photography related, you can send those questions to me at askmark@adorama.com. Thanks for joining us this week, and I'll see you next week.
This episode is brought to you by Adorama TV. Visit the Adorama Learning Center where you'll find photography tips and techniques, links to the gear used in this episode, and related videos. For all the latest photography, video, and computer gear, visit Adorama.com. And the next time you're in New York City, visit our store located on 18th Street between 5th and 6th Avenue.